Okay, we are in hour number 9, and we have had a star-studded cast through the night of incredible interviews of coaches, actors, celebrities, players, and now we're going to speak to the big boss, the recently retired chairman of CBS Sports, Sean McManus, who is a gentleman who hired me to work the NCAA men's tournament first and second round 8 years ago. Sean, and I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity that you provided me and many others like me to work in the business. How are you?
I am really good, Debbie. And let me start off by saying a lot of people talk about giving back and doing things. I think what you do every year is phenomenal, and I think it's a great idea. You raise a lot of money for a great cause, and I'm really proud of you. I really am. And you're putting your money where your mouth is. You're not just talking about it. So good job there. I'm really enjoying retirement. It's been about a month. I enjoy this weekend, PGA Championship weekend on CBS, and I thought I might really miss being in Louisville, but I'm enjoying watching it on television and feel really good about my decision. And as you know, David Burson, who had been president of the division under me for more than 10 years, is running the shop. So, and he's going to do a great job. And so I'm really happy with my decision. And I think you had a great tournament this year. You continue to be a good partner and be a really good broadcaster. And, but I feel good about my decision and I'm happy about going forward. And I feel good about the future of CBS Sports. I wanted to make sure I left it in good hands. And I think it's in really, really good hands right now.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, Sean. You know how much that means to me. I don't even know how to express it because it is definitely a circle on the schedule, bucket list opportunity to work with your team and the team that you put together, from producers, directors, and everyone that's behind the camera that makes all of us a complete team. And that's what you get when you work for CBS under your leadership. When you say you're enjoying retirement, tell us some of the things you're enjoying.
I'm enjoying waking up in the morning and not having 15 emails to answer. I'm enjoying thinking about what else I'm going to do. I want to do some speaking, maybe once or twice a month. I've had some interest from the big speakers bureaus. I'd like to be on a public board or two because I think I have something, something to offer. Hopefully, a company that has some interest in media. So that's that. I am definitely going to do some nonprofit work. We have a home in Florida now, and there's a foundation at the community where I live, which serves the underprivileged in Riviera Beach and that area. So, and I'm going to play a lot of golf. I'm going to be with my friends. I'm going to travel a little bit, but I'm going to be as busy as I want to be. I don't want to have a boss again, but I want to keep active, and I'm not just going to play golf 6 days a week and watch Netflix. I'm going to stay busy, and I still have a lot of friends in the industry. I still follow the industry, and if any of them would like my advice, I'm happy to give it. And as my old boss used to say, the advice is probably worth what you're paying for it, and I'm giving it to you for free. So, so that's that. And just to go back to the NCAA tournament, Deb, you know that no event takes over this country for 2.5 weeks like the NCAA tournament does. And when you do that, those first 2 days, and we produce 16 games on Thursday from noon until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then 16 games again on Friday. 8 different sites, 8 different production teams, 8 different announce teams. There's nothing like it in television, and I think it gets bigger and bigger every year. And with all of the negativity around college sports and all the controversy that's going on right now, and all the talk about big money and will the athletes share in that and NIL and the portal. people seem to put everything aside for 2.5 weeks, and they just enjoy the Cinderella stories, and they enjoy the upsets and the big names. There's nothing like it, and to have you part of it obviously has been great. I'll miss that, to be honest with you. I'll miss being in the master control room where we coordinate all those games, but I'll enjoy watching it. But I'm so glad we have that event. I still say we at CBS Sports,
Sure.
but I'm so glad we have that event for so many years to come.
Well, I can't even begin to tell you what it feels like to be a part of that team, especially 8 years ago when you gave me the opportunity. I almost drove off the road when I got the call. I was so excited to think that you had been watching me for so long and were willing to give me a chance. I'm so grateful for that because it has made me so much better in so many other ways and has helped advance my career in ways I can't even explain. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. Uh, you mentioned the landscape of college sports, and you have your pulse on media rights and expansion and league realignment and all the things that might be coming down the road. If you were going to kind of cast forward, what would you say might be happening in the next 3 to 5 years?
It's a really good question, Deb. And I don't think anybody has an answer. There are so many dynamics swirling around. Somebody told me yesterday, in fact, it was Tony Petiti, my good friend, who's now the commissioner of the Big Ten. We played golf yesterday. And he told me that of the Sweet 16 teams, 45% of the players had gone through the portal the previous year. I don't know if that's good or bad for sports. It certainly changes the dynamic of coaching dramatically. I think it's probably not great for the fan interest, but it is what it is. NIL complicates everything. I think players certainly deserve to be compensated for their name, image, and likeness and what they do. They're the ones who generate the money. So I understand that, but I also understand how complicated it is. And when you're recruiting and you go into an athlete's home, his parents, I think, used to ask, how much is he going to play? How much is he going to be on television? What about academic help? What's your graduation rate? What are your prospects for other recruits you're bringing in? And how successful do you think the team will be? I think those were kind of the questions that caring parents asked. I think they're still concerned about all that. But I also think number one on their list is how much money am I going to get from NIL? And I'm not saying that's a bad attitude or a bad perspective, but it's a very different perspective. I think when you talk about having the players share in the revenue that's generated, I think that's probably going to happen. It's going to happen primarily with the basketball and football players, but I could see the top gymnast at a school getting some money for his or her participation. I think it is, however, going to put a big, big strain on athletic budgets. And if the money is being circulated back to the players, I worry about the lesser sports and the economics of trying to share the revenue. And again, not making a judgment on sharing the revenue is right or wrong, but I know that that money has to come from somewhere. And I'm really hoping that it doesn't come from all the other sports. And, let's face it, football and basketball generate the vast majority of revenue for the other sports. But I worry about the other sports. And as far as conference realignment, listen, the Big Ten and the SEC are ruling the roost right now. They're making the decisions on what's going to happen in the college football playoff. They're by and large making the decisions on whether to expand or not expand. And I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's possible that some point in the future, those two conferences will get together with themselves and with some other teams and do a super conference football schedule in the fall. I think it's a little bit trying to predict what's going to happen in the media world with streaming and all that. I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen in college athletics, but I know the direction that it's going. And the directions that they're going, some are, I think, really good for the game. I think the expansion of the college football playoff is good. I think people want that. I think that's good. But it's a time of turmoil, and unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, maybe it's the right way. Most of it is going to be decided in the courts, and either in the courts or in Washington, D.C. And, Congress is really interested in pay for play for athletes, and should they be employees, and should they have unfettered rights, to receive money. Tony, my good friend at the Big Ten, and I'm sure this is true of Greg Sankey and the other commissioners, I think Tony's been to Washington 10 times in the last 6 months or so, just to meet with senators and congressmen and congresswomen and to see what is going to happen. But it's complicated, it's legalistic, and I just hope it doesn't take away from the beauty of college athletics on all levels, because I'm a huge college athletic fan. So when you have someone like, Caitlin come along and what that does for this country in terms of bringing it together and generating really healthy interest. I think college sports are really important to this country, and I'm hoping that they stay strong and stay pure is not the word, and that's a word that probably is inappropriate here. But I hope that the vast majority of college athletes are still playing primarily because they love the game and they want to win. And I think that's good for our country, and I think it's good for college athletics.
You reference Caitlin Clark. I call it Clarkonomics. I think she's the greatest disruptor we've seen, certainly in the women's game, to allow the economics to grow and change and investment in the game. But then you also mentioned the purity of sport, and that's what we're doing here with Special Olympics. It's not the enterprise that we're talking about with college athletics in terms of the money, the NIL, the transfer portal. What we're doing with Special Olympics is trying to raise some money so people with intellectual disability can play, because they need to learn the same lessons of being on a team and being able to play, compete, organize, all the things that come with sport the way we grew up playing them. What would your experience have been with Special Olympics, or any story that you could share with us?
I got a little bit involved in it when I was at ABC Sports many, many years ago with my good friend and your good friend, Rick LaCivita. The Kennedys were very involved, and at ABC Sports, we became involved. And that was there was nothing in terms of the revenue generating or sophistication of special needs and Special Olympics. But I'll be honest with you, I haven't been as involved as I would like to be. I follow it. I think the images that I watch online from these I'll call them athletes because they are athletes. They're trying as hard as everybody else is. Winning and losing means the same to them. I think it's just an amazing, amazing opportunity. And I think their lives would be drastically different without it. And I have friends who have children within these situations. And, I think athletics is important in every phase of life. And whether it's the Special Olympics or any of the other projects that you and the team are involved in, I just think it's really, really important. And, I think what you're doing is amazing, and to raise $1 million for a great cause is, as I said, I think it's just fantastic, and I'm fully supportive in every single way.
Well, I can't thank you enough for your time. And you're right, our dear friend Rick LaCivita was able to tie us together so that we could get you to help us on our live stream. And I'm so grateful for your time, Sean. I'm so glad you're enjoying retirement. And I don't know if thank you is a big enough or has enough power behind it for you to know how I feel about what you were able to do for me and my family. And in return, we're trying to help other families in our situation with somebody with special needs, my middle son with Down syndrome, and sport allowed him to gain confidence so that he could go to college and now graduate and live independently and hold down 2 jobs and really have his own
Amazing.
life, which is just absolutely amazing. And we wouldn't have any of that if it wasn't for the foundation that Special Olympics gave us through sport.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I'm reminded of our good friend Ernie Johnson, who
Yes.
adopted a severely disabled child. I forget whether it was
It was
Croatia, wherever
Michael.
it was. Yeah, and he unfortunately passed away a little while ago. But Ernie, I always remember this line, and I think it's one of the most emotional lines I've ever heard. When they went to the orphanage, there were a lot of kids there, and Ernie's wife chose one boy who looked like, nothing was really wrong with him, and the orphanage said to her, "Don't take that one, he's broken." And when they heard that line, they said, "He's the one that we want." And I mean, I get very emotional when I hear Ernie tell that story, but those few words, "Don't take him, he's broken," shows the dedication and the love and the compassion that Ernie and his wife had for Michael. And you're doing the same thing. You obviously didn't choose this situation, but what you've done with it, you've made it an incredibly positive story, a great story with a really, really happy ending. So I think about Ernie a lot. And I think about what you're doing a lot, and couldn't be prouder of both of you. And I will be rooting for you in the NCAA tournament next year when you're broadcasting again. And I know you'll do a great job. And good luck with the rest of the event today. I know you're right in the middle of it, but it's great. I think it's cool. Maybe one day I'll get there in person.
We would love to extend an open invitation for you anytime, and you need to come down here and play Bulls Bay with us. I think you would really enjoy it.
Love that. And good luck. And thanks to you. And thanks to Rick Lasavita for putting us together on this.
Yes, thank you so much, Sean. That's the recently retired chairman of CBS Sports, Sean McManus. I'm grateful for your time, Sean. Thank you so much.
All right, Deb, thank you.
All right. Woo! How cool. How cool is that? That is awesome. Okay. Do we have Allie?